They bring some sunshine, they bring some rain. They bring some sunshine, they bring some rain. They bring some sunshine, they bring some rain. They bring some sunshine, they bring some rain.
Hi, welcome to another episode of On the Town with Tanya Cooper. You're watching, that's right, it's me, Tanya Cooper. So a lot has been going on in the news, and as you all know, as Tommy Grossi likes to make fun of me and say, I gotta talk about it. So in the news, there apparently was a breach of Social Security numbers from the deceased that are being used for scams, giving a whole new meaning to the popular TV series The Walking Dead. Anyway, defamed reporter who lied about Iraq, oh gosh, can't even think of his name. Brian Williams, thank you.
Williams.
See, my guess is even honing in. Defamed reporter Brian Williams, who lied about Iraq, is back in the news. Apparently, he wanted to do a spot in late night television, even trying to get David Letterman and Jay Leno's spot. I also hear Pinocchio is making a comeback in the art world. On the Town was able to obtain one of the portraits, but unfortunately we could only get the portrait of Hillary. Yeah, that's the portrait that we were able to retain. You know, unfortunately the MoMA doesn't give those out too much. The one of Brian Williams was not in our budget, you know, so anyway, so much for Pinocchio art. So let's see, DuPont story. After years, okay, everybody knows about Durst, all right? Okay, he was the heir to the DuPont. I know you know about the DuPonts, the fabric of our life, that whole thing, right? Okay, well, after years of being found innocent of murdering his former wife, girlfriend, and friend, they opened the case back up after finding a letter with his exact writing that matched the letter that was sent to for the police to find the body, okay? Mistakes and all was on the letter. So they matched it perfectly. And it allowed the police to know where to find the body, right? So Durst actually admitted to killing and dismembering, yes, you heard that right, his friend in self-defense, okay? The jury believed his chopped up story. Anyway, Mitt Romney. So I hear he's not running for president because he doesn't want to taint the anti-poverty documentary that he has made and he's been working on for 2 years, allegedly, right? So some of the quotes that I heard made me think, I wonder. So here's one of the things he said. These stories that need to be told and retold so that more can be found? I wonder. More what found? I'm confused. He also said, the whole purpose of the video series is to show redemption exists. People are fighting poverty very successfully. It's outright inspiring, and they're in every community. Mitt, you know those people. Anyway, so much for that. And so a very big thing that's making its way up the charts, or the YouTube charts, is the fraternity SAEs. I'll just say their initial because I can't stand saying the name. So apparently, right, they had released a video on a bus on some trip they were taking, and I say several of the grand wizards of the KKK grandkids have joined the fraternity in Oklahoma called SAE to form their own splinter group, ASS. Yes, a busload of fraternity guys was seen and heard rapping about not letting African Americans join their fraternity and even making references that let you know how they wanted to be just like their grandparents when they grow up. The rap apparently has gone viral. Ironically, the strange twist, a dress got more detailed attention than SAE fraternity Jim Crow inspired video. Just saying. So in celebrity news, we have Kelly Osbourne, smart cookie. She left Fashion Police, probably due to Juliana Rassig's racist comments about young lady from one of the shows, not Disney. What was it? One of the young ladies Shout out to my boy Tommy Grassi, because he's famous for teasing me about this. But anyway, it doesn't matter who she made the comment about. The young girl had dreadlocks in her hair, and they were extensions, but they were dreads. And she said something to the fact that she looks like she would smell like patchouli and something else dirty, and be dirty or something like that. So I say, smart girl, Kelly, for leaving, because if you hang with the racist people, birds of a feather, they do flock together. Just saying. So anyway, another one, Jersey housewife Teresa, I can never say her name, Giudice, I can never say her name, but you know who she is. Reportedly, she's keeping a diary while she's in jail. Some of her entries, my husband cheated on me, and the most noted entry, I'm better than them. Teresa, Teresa, Teresa. Apparently, you're not Mother Teresa, you are them. She still didn't get the memo. Still separating herself. It's like, wake up and admit you're a gangster like the rest of them. And stop hanging with Mitt Romney and those frat boys from Oklahoma SAE in their bedroom. I mean, heck, or on a bus. I'm sure they think the same of you and me. Do you need me to remind you about Ellis Island when you first got here? Oh, okay. Well, we won't go into that. But anyway. So, also in the news, Bill Cosby has another accuser. I mean, really. Another one, African-American woman, shocker, who claims she waited so long because she did not want to taint Cosby's show a black image of the black male, so, until something made her break her silence. Her book is due out soon. Cosby posted a video for his fans, however, which was crazy, but he posted it. And a lot of women groups are outraged and posted a picture of an old cartoon character that I'm going to show you. And the character's first name basically sums up how they feel about him. I'm just saying. Anyway, we have a great show for you guys lined up for you tonight. Actually, it's still daylight, I think. Yeah, daylight savings time, people. We have two comic guests today. And my first guest is an actor, director, stand-up comic, and a comedy writer from New York. He is a producer and a creator of Quick Breakfast Productions, an online sketch comedy channel. Please welcome Mr. Mike Vincent.
Thank you for having me.
A little late on that.
I got it. Nice. Look at this. All right. Thank you for having me, Tanya.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Pleasure
thank
to
you.
be here.
Yes, thank you. And also, we have Murph, aka James Murphy, performing with It's All. He has performed with It's All Fun and Games improv troupe. He does Murph's Law in Bridgeport, Connecticut. You can find him at various clubs in New York City, in Connecticut, and hosting occasionally. Please give it up for my special guest, Murph. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
And handshake to you too. So guys, we're here finally. How I wanted to. Let's see how we're going to break this up because I got two special people here.
Oh, well, thank you.
How are things going with you, Mike?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
I got a show coming up on Friday.
Okay.
At Broadway Comedy Club.
Oh, nice.
It's a part of Fashionably Funny Productions show that they host there each month.
Oh, Marissa
Smith,
Smith,
lovely
yes.
Marissa Smith.
Very smart.
Putting
girl.
together a show, and yeah, I'm excited. It's a great lineup of comics. Friday the 13th.
Oh wow! What time?
So you never know what's going to happen.
What time?
But 9:30. 9:30.
Oh, nice.
Come on down. Check it out. Broadway Comedy Club. But yeah, that's what's going on in my world this week.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And Murph, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
I just did a club I always wanted to do because I've never done a tiki bar before. You were there also. Otto's
right.
Shrunken Head.
Yes.
I'm not sure if there's a hex on me now, but I had a great time. And I'm looking forward to more shows, in the future. Hopefully we're getting back to the Bijou in Bridgeport
Okay.
sometime soon, and just looking for opportunities.
Okay. Now, I wanted to ask you both, how did you get into comedy?
You want to take it first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. I don't know. Comedy's always been a part of my life as a kid growing up. Before I decided I wanted to become an actor, it was really comedy that was the first thing that was there. And I grew up on watching, Eddie Murphy and Robin Williams. Those were the two guys that really stood out to me because, you know, I mean, as a kid, what you really look at is physical humor. You know, you don't. You know, I watched Coming to America and Trading Places and Mrs. Doubtfire, and when you watch that as a kid, you're looking at more of the slapsticky side of things. You're not actually taking a look at the bigger picture because you don't really understand what's going on.
I agree with you.
That was huge to me. You know, watching those guys perform after I saw each of those movies that I just brought up, I would, you know, put on my grandfather's coat and, you know, try to pretend to be family members and impersonate them and everything, because just of that physical comedy. So from there, I really had, honestly, my beginning was more in acting. Improv was my original training and background. I took improv when I was about 10 years old, actually. And the great thing about the program that I was involved in was that I was doing improv with, you know, adults and people in their 20s and 30s, and, you know, even a couple of people in their, you know, in their 70s. And as a kid, you know, to be able to perform improv with a lot of different, you know, age groups, you're learning a ton about different personalities, and we had a great variation of scenes that we would do. So, you know, while I was always the kid, you know, I learned a lot from watching other people too. And then from there, I, you know, started doing some stage acting. And but comedy for me, stand-up specifically, you know, I started writing a lot of jokes and material before I actually started performing it. In college, a lot of monologues that I would write that I thought would be for the stage turned out to be, you know, like, I guess what you would call a, you know, like a late night monologue, you know, if that makes sense. You know, you watch late night, you know, those jokes that are in the beginning. But, you know, I really loved the idea of writing jokes, and then I took it to some mics and started performing in small groups in weird places and kind of odd spots, trying to get laughs from friends, you know.
What inspired you the first time you went to an open mic? Or did
The
you
very
take a class,
first
or?
time. My friend and I actually had the idea. My friend Tom, childhood friend. We had this idea that we were going to go down and give it a shot and try. It was one of the first times that I had done it in a club. I had performed a few different places in college and on my own, but this was the first club that we went to, into New York Comedy Club, and we went down there and we just, I don't know, we wanted to test it out. And I remember afterwards, it was 5 minutes, but it was the most exciting 5 minutes, like, of my life. You know, the adrenaline coursing through. I mean, you guys know as comedians as well. Exactly. And then from there, just started thinking, yeah, you know, this could be something. You know, just keep working at it. You know, and but it was a bug, definitely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we all got it.
Yeah.
And you, Murph, what started you in comedy?
Well, I always enjoyed making my family laugh, my grandmother primarily, and my other family members.
You was the
And
prankster.
then in school, I was the class clown. I took that as pretty much the most important part of my education, which didn't really help my education, but it was fun anyway. And it cost me a lot of jobs too, but it was just so important. I never put it together that I should try and make that my job, you know, until eventually I started noticing a pattern. And I was telling Mike before, I actually was working in film production, and we had the greatest weekend shoot. I had such a good time, and we laughed, and at the end of the shoot, they fired me, and they said, we had the greatest time. I mean, all the laughs that we had, that we could have shot this in half the time. So you should try doing comedy and not doing film.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I took a class by accident even. I saw Robert Klein hosting a Gotham Comedy Club, and I went to Gotham City Improv because my attention span is very small. And it turned out to be an improv class, and I went with it. It was so much fun, the first free class, that I stayed with improv for a few years only, and then went into stand-up actually later, when I found the correct Gotham Comedy Club. And
Correct.
you took a class, and at the end of the class you performed in a show, and at that point I was totally hooked. And you know, I diverted though for a while. After a few years of it, I got a couple legitimate acting jobs, and I kind of put the comedy in the back, which I regret, you know. So now I'm on my second tour right now it's been really since last April.
Since last
But
April?
now it's like that's my main focus. I don't let anybody or anything,
Deter it.
you know, stop just doing stand-up only. So
Now, do you remember, both of you, do you remember your first bomb?
oh, my first bomb?
Yeah.
No, I'd say my recent bombs. But you
Most
kind
recent.
of build up an armor if you do it enough. And you learn from the bombs, and you can actually learn to cherish them, actually. If you have a twisted
the
sense
bomb.
of humor,
Right.
bombs are fine.
Right,
You
right.
know? If you had all great times,
Right. As long as they're not Iraqi related, you're right.
yeah.
fine.
No, I don't fear it as much anymore. I like to improvise the middle of my set. That's the thing that I've been doing a lot lately.
Yeah, you're very
Interesting.
good at that.
I'll start with the beginning I know, and the ending I know, and the middle I don't have a clue. It might be
Interesting.
something that I found on the way over there. I mean, I was driving to a show one time, and I saw a girl in the slow lane with a personalized license plate, and it said Tom's Girl. And it immediately struck me as, why would you get motor vehicles involved in your relationship? And it just became a whole bit. And she was talking on the phone, I assumed, to Tom. And
Maybe,
I
don't know.
still think about her sometimes. If I drive up and down 95
Every now
going to
and then.
gigs, I wonder, whatever happened to Tom's Girl?
I think that's a really interesting point. Not Tom's Girl, your formula, although she's pretty interesting. But no, I think that's a really interesting thing though that Murph brings up though, because I think every comic has a formula that works for them.
Right.
You know, talking about stand-up, but I think every comedian has a formula that works well for them, and it's interesting to hear, you know, what you've been doing lately because it works so well, you know. But I think that going to a mic is a really great opportunity to not worry about failing. You know, go out, try new stuff, try old stuff, perfect old stuff. But one thing that I really like to do is when I go to an open mic, whether it's in the city or it's in Westchester, is try out as much new stuff as you can, because the worst feeling, and I don't know of anyone who actually does it, I'm sure a lot of people who've been doing it for years and years and are very good at it do it, but go into a show with something that has never hit an audience's ears before.
Right.
It's really risky, at least in my
It
opinion.
is, absolutely.
You know, because there's more that can go wrong, especially if you haven't really perfected
Yeah.
where you want it to be.
Yeah, I
But
wouldn't do it. Yeah.
I think it's really about finding what works for you as a comic. So.
That's true. And Murph, so with all the snow that just left us, you got any good snow jokes for us?
Snow jokes? Well,
Snow
my ranking in my neighborhood has gotten pretty much uplifted. A person gave me a snowblower, and I didn't realize how much clout you have amongst the neighbors with a snowblower.
Yeah.
The non-snowblower owners look up to you and they worship you. So I actually, kind of wore that with authority. I came snowblowing by. I had a neighbor. He would look at me and think, how can I get to know Mr. Snowblower? And then I came by and he offered me 4 pounds of deer meat, which I don't enjoy eating Bambi. So I declined, and then he came back and offered me alcohol, which I don't drink anymore. He was frustrated, and then he offered me some illegal substances, which I declined, and then it was implied there was more available in his wallet, but he just kind of thumbed through the money. He didn't actually reach in, but I took care of his lawn, his yard rather, his snow operation. So now, I don't know, we have this kind of relationship, I think. We'll see, summertime, maybe I'll need him to do something, and I'll reset the balance back.
You need like a badge or a hat, something that lets people know who you are.
Well, there's a rival now.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, later in the season, after we got about our 12th or 13th blizzard,
Okay.
late one night, I heard a noise, and I went, what is that? It was a rival snowblower.
You have competition now.
Bill from Down to Dead End. And Bill's looking to make his bones.
Okay.
So I live on a street on a corner, and on the one side it's public, so
Right.
the plow comes through. But on the front, it's private. So then somebody, Mr. Snowblower, that had been my turf.
Right.
But now Bill comes out at 9 in the dark and he took care of that area.
Oh man.
So we're going to have a sit down
You are,
at some
or you're-
point and define our territories.
Or at 8:59, right on the
I
dot,
could- I could-
you're out there.
I could get out there.
And
I think at some point
that
we're going to
solves it.
have to face off down the dead end. You know, nose to nose,
This is going to get ugly.
mano y mano.
This
I
is
think
going to get out of hand.
Yeah.
it could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the snow is gone though, and that we can kind
Let's
of let
hope.
things
Until
settle.
until next winter.
You know,
Let's hope.
then
I'm
there's going to
hoping
be-
we're done for now.
I thought I heard something, but not for this week. But I was like, oh, don't tell me that.
Well, I
Our
looked
heat
at the
wave.
Farmer's Almanac. Now, I don't know how these farmers know more than the meteorologists. Something's going on in Farmville, but they said that we have one more storm in April, which is just sick. That's
in
just
April,
wrong.
that's just
In
torture.
Yeah.
So you're going to be out there in your short sleeves,
Yeah, that's not.
cleaning the yard, and all of a sudden, whoof, 6 inches of snow is going to land on your back, son.
And you'll be there.
You'll be there. I'll be ready. I'm going to
You're
keep
ready.
that snowblower
You're ready.
fired
You're
up.
just going to start. You're going to wait right now. After you're done, you're just going to wait outside for this.
I mean,
storm
mine
in
has
April.
electric start.
Ooh. All right, Bill.
Come on, Bill. What do you
Come
got?
on, Bill.
And Mike, and tell me. So, what do you think of in current stuff, Facebook?
What do I think of Facebook? I don't know. Facebook's an interesting thing for me. I know, as you know, I talk about social media a little bit in my set. I have an opener. My opener is I've been thinking of changing my name to Daddy on Facebook, so that way when I like things, it says Daddy likes. That has been my opener. And I've been doing that for a while now, and it's getting to the point where I can't, honestly, I don't think I can say it much longer. It just starts to grate. You ever have a joke that you do so much that it just starts to just really like bug you when you do it? I made fun of it. I made fun of it one night, and from there I think I've just kept on like making fun of it more after I do it. So I think it's a sign though that I'm ready to retire it. But yeah. So if you see a guy named Daddy on Facebook, it's just
you.
me, and I will like your things for you.
You'll like it. What
Yeah.
about? I hear amongst your friends, you're the one that in one of your sets, you do that piece for me.
With one of my friends.
With your friends when it's time to go home. To make
Oh, when
sure
it's
they're
time to
safe?
go. Yeah, so I got this thing where I talk about living. I live at home, and I talk about living at home with my parents. I talk about my family a lot. I find that I like trying to be relatable. So I like to talk about my family as much as I can because they are a wealth of material. I love them to death, but they're a wealth of material. But yeah, so I think I spend a lot of time with my mom because whenever I get done hanging out with my buddies at the end of the night, I'm just like, get home safe, guys. Get home safe. Get home safe, everybody. Tom, you're gonna get home safe, all right? You get home safe, Tom. No, you know what? I'll tell you what. Those roads are really treacherous out there, Tom. You text me when you get home, so I know you got home safe. All right? You gonna do it? You're gonna do it? And then I just go on and I talk to myself for a while, and that's about that. But I feel like that. Sometimes I feel like the wife that no one asked for amongst my friends, and I'm like, how did that happen? I'm relatively, young still. I don't know why I feel that way, but
You care.
But I care.
You care.
I care, and I'm the wife that no one asked for.
Yes, or the
but
mom.
yeah,
Oh, the mom.
or the mother.
Yeah.
The mother.
The
yeah.
mother of the
I'm
group.
home, Mike. It's okay.
I'm home. Yeah.
And
Text
Murph,
me.
so what? Who would be your favorite comic, past or present?
When I grew up, I really enjoyed Jonathan Winters.
Jonathan Winters.
I
Wow.
read about him, and I loved the way he was a combination of stand-up, improv, and he was just way out there. It was very absurd. I mean, I remember him, and then Monty Python.
Did he play in Carol Burnett's Mama's Place? That's not.
Yeah,
that's not him.
I think
that is
he
him,
was in
right?
Mork and Mindy also. He
But he is
played.
Carol Burnett's husband in the Carol Burnett series, right? Isn't that him, Jonathan Winters?
I don't think so.
No, I don't know.
Mama's Place? You sure? Not Mama's Place. What's the other one? Carol and Friends? You know when they
that-
do all those sketches?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
That's not
about.
him?
No, I don't think so.
I think it's
no.
someone else.
Oh,
He had his
wow.
own show. He was really good on the roasts.
Okay.
If you watch any of the old classic, like Dean Martin roasts,
Oh, those are my favorite.
he was one of the first to really, really go out there. He'd come in playing a character and just wreck everybody
Okay.
and then leave. And I just thought the way he did it outside the norm of comedy. And then I found he had actually had been in a mental institution. And I thought, that is awesome. That's
Yeah.
somebody with that background is
7:30.
making a living.
With this career,
There's
yeah.
hope for me.
Well, and
you
it's
know?
funny because if you look at an older roast and the material and everything, it's very different
Yes,
all
than
than what you look at
Yeah.
now on Comedy
Yes.
Central. But you look at comics that were groundbreaking for that time for those roasts, and that's primarily what's being done on roasts today,
Yeah.
through and through.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see the kind of evolution of that, like insult
roast.
comedy too.
Yeah.
You know, it's
I don't wonder where they came up with the roast idea.
The roast,
sit and
the
insult.
Friars. I
The
know
fryer,
where they were
yeah, but I'm
beginning,
saying
but
like what man first said, you know
Yeah.
what, let's insult each other and make
I
a
think
day
it
out of it.
started as a,
Yeah.
you know, like a kind of a memorial, not a memorial because you're not dead, but
Pay homage,
Yeah.
kind of a,
something.
yeah, you know, an homage to the person. And then somebody made a joke, and then somebody else made a joke, and then they realized the best part of this is that part of it, the
Yeah.
jokes. And then as you know, it got more aggressive, so then it became really a roast. To now that it's like a thing, you know, a function. I've never been on one, but I would love to try.
I
it.
almost had to
You
do one
almost
for
do.
someone's birthday, but I wasn't able to make it.
Yeah.
But you know, it happens.
Yeah, it'd be fun to do.
We actually only have 5 minutes left, so I have
wow.
more questions for you. So I apologize for sort of cutting you off, sort of. But there's a couple things I want to ask, and one was. What do you guys think of the current situation in comedy? Like everybody wants to be a comic now. So when you go to your open mics, do you literally care or care not, or doesn't matter? You're just doing
like
your
for,
thing.
for stand-ups
yeah,
or for
it's
like
like everybody
sketch or-
seems to be. Everybody wants to be a comic now. Like
I
it just
think
seems-
I think it's wonderful. I mean, I think that stand-up comedy. I heard a really great conversation once. It's actually it's a combo between Louis C.K., one of my favorites, Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock.
Oh, wow.
And Ricky Gervais. It's a great. I think it's called Talking Funny. It's on YouTube. Really, you should check it out
I will.
if you haven't seen it. Really great interview. And what they were talking about was the evolution of comedy, stand-up in particular, and how it's kind of cyclical, you know. And it goes through periods of being really hot,
Right.
and then it gets kind of quiet. So I think right now it does seem like a pretty hot time. A lot of great new comics and a lot of people who are wanting to try, stand up. And you do see definitely a lot more comics in mics now. But I think it's a great thing. I think it's always excellent to see people that have an interest in it and want to try it, because all that means is when you go to a show, hopefully there'll be an audience there too. You know, that's at least my take
I mean,
on it.
as long
10-second version of that.
as long as
Hot.
as long as there's more people interested in it, there's more opportunities. There's definitely more shows now. It seems
Yes.
every day. I
Everybody's
think
booking
this
their own,
summer
right?
is probably going to be the busiest in the history of mankind as far as comedy goes.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to ride the wave and hopefully,
Write it out.
perform for tens of dollars to
That's right.
tens of people.
Yeah,
right.
probably gonna make $1 million
That's right. So you can,
at some point this summer, except not.
So I cannot believe time has flown that quick, guys. I
went
didn't
by
even
fast.
get half of the questions I wanted to ask you out, and that's what I get for doing long monologues.
You gotta
See?
have us back.
See, if I had a budget, I would have
We'll
had
have a
someone that would have
sequel.
had something in my ear.
You gotta
But
have us
that's
back.
okay. I will definitely have you back. Are you both come back and see
Murph
me?
and Mike
Yeah?
2.
Pleasure.
You'll definitely come back.
Pleasure
and
to
see
be
me?
here. Part 2.
And
Part
Murph,
two.
that's right, Mike and Murph Part 2. So
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back
Okay.
this summer, for sure. So as you see, it's time to go already. I'm going to miss my 2 guests, Murph and Mike Vincent.
I'm gonna miss you.
If you want to see either one of them, you can check Murph out on Thursdays at what's it called?
Murphy's Law, Bridgeport, Connecticut.
That's right. And Mike.
Shameless plug. Quick Breakfast Productions.
That's right.
It's my online sketch comedy
That's right. So,
channel. Check it out.
Peace.
And so thank you again for watching, viewers, and I hope that you have the best week ever. We'll see you next time on The Town. Thank you for watching.
Bing.
They bring some sunshine, they bring some rain. They bring some sunshine, they bring some rain. They bring some sunshine.